Hey everyone, my name is Samuel and this is Should You Back It, a channel all about helping you crowdfund with confidence. And today I'm super excited to be playing through a solo playthrough of Deep Regrets, which is currently on Kickstarter and a game that I'm pretty excited by. Now, Deep Regrets is a game for 1 to 5 players, and normally it would be a competitive game where you're competing against one another to kind of get the best haul without gathering tons of crippling regrets as you do so. Today, I'm going to be playing through the solo version of the game because I'm on my own. Now, if you want to find out more information about Deep Regrets, you can check out the campaign that is linked in the video description, or alternatively, you can check out my Should You Back It video, which is also linked down there, and I'll also stick it up in the top right of the screen as well, which is where I'll go through and tell you whether this is a game that you should back. Spoiler alert, I think it is. Now, I don't want to waste your time in this video and kind of tell you exactly nitty-gritty how this game plays before we jump into it. We're just going to dive in, pardon the pun, and we're going to explore and discover how to play this game as we play it. In essence, in the solo mode, you are a solo scientist as you go to try and catalogue and document all of the fish in the sea. There are some of the mechanics that you would find in the normal competitive version of the game that are not present in the solo mode. But I think it's a really fun and compelling experience. And yeah, we're going to just dive right into it. So to give you an understanding of what you're looking at before we dive in, this right here is my angler fraud. Mainly because we all feel a little bit like fraud looks every now and again. These are my dice that will be rolling throughout the game in order to carry out actions. This is just my little money tracker, which doesn't really come into play until the end of the solo mode session. Over here we have my reference cards. Reference card will equally give me the odds of catching certain sizes of fish at certain levels and kind of help me understand what I'll find. A can of worms, which enables me to peek at a fish and then put it back on the top or bottom of the shoal. Over here, speaking of shoals, this is the briny deep. So as you'll see, we can go from depth 1 to 2 to 3, and as we go deeper, the size and complexity of the fish increases. We have little dinks up here. If I can't catch a fish, I can always take a dink. Sometimes they'll just be like a little tiny dinky fish, or it might be an old boot that somebody's chucked into the ocean. Up here at the top, which we won't necessarily get to touch in this session, are items. So for instance, you may be able to upgrade your reels and get a better reel to catch better fish, or to make it easier to catch fish even. You can, or sorry, rods to catch better fish. These are the reels, like the reel of the deep, which enables me to place my boat at depth 2 at the start of each day at sea. Or alternatively, in the red category here, we've also got the likes of moonshine, which will enable me to get rid of 4 random regrets, which can be very, very useful. In the solo mode, those won't come into play until you get to the end of the first week, and you can cash in your fish, earn some money, and then reinvest that money for future sessions. And then over here we have our ocean survey board. This is where I can easily track what day of the work week we're on. We equally have a stack of regrets, which we will uncover and discover as we go through the game. Oh, and of course we have my ocean survey sheet. This is actually what sold me bizarrely on the solo mode of this game. In essence, as we catch a fish, we will catalogue it here of what size, what depth we caught it at. And then whenever we get back to port, we can hopefully cash in those fish for money and reinvest them in rods and reels and all that lovely thing. And so with that, let's just get stuck in. So the first phase is the refresh phase. And in the refresh phase, we would clock in. Normally, we would move the day tracker up 1 day, but because it's the first day, we get to skip that. And we then coffee up. We've brewed the coffee this morning. It's nice and black, maybe a little pinch of sugar just because we're not sweet enough. And we get to re-roll our dice. So we're gonna re-roll the, oh, actually that's not a bad roll. So we got a 1 and 2 3s, and then we're gonna put those into our fresh pile. As you'll see on the character board, there's fresh and spent. If I use the dice, as you'll assume, we put that over into the spent side. At this stage as well, if I had any rods or reels, I would choose which ones I want to equip before we go out onto the ocean. So once you're out into the sea, I can't just keep like chopping and changing my reels and rods based on what fish I encounter. I have to think, well, I want to go down to a deeper depth, so I should probably equip a rod and a reel that's going to enable me to catch fish or, well, I was going to say survive, but thrive at those depths. So we are at depth 1. And equally, a nice little touch on the cards is that I can tell what size of fish is going to be at each depth based on the shadow that it creates in the water here. So over at depth 1, I'll reveal that to this camera over here. You'll see we've got a little tiny shadow. That's probably going to be a small fish. Conversely, the other two are quite large shadows. They're probably going to be big fish and more difficult to catch. So one of the things that's really important is that you can reveal a fish at any depth. We're at depth 1 right now, but if I wanted to, I could reveal a card at depth 3. There's nothing wrong with that. I just can't catch it at depth 3 until I move down. What's quite fun is that if I move down to depth 3, I can catch any depth, which is, but I've just got to spend more dice to get there. Nice little mechanic that I enjoy. So let's start off quite easy. The goal here is just to catch a lot of fish and get them back to port. I'm kind of tempted to go for one of these big guys. So we're going to reveal this. Right. So this is a cax. This is a large and foul fish. And this is worth 3 gold or 3 fish bucks if I can get that back to the port. I will take a regret when I sell it. And it's a difficulty 3, which means I would need to spend a level 3 dice, a dice with 3 on it, or a number of dice totaling 3 in order to catch it. Now, when revealed, which is what this icon here, all other players take a regret, but in solo mode we ignore those mechanics that involve other players. So that is the cax. You know what? I am going to spend 3 dice to catch the cax, and then we're going to note that over here. So this is a large fish at depth 1. So we put foil, because this is a foil fish, and it's a cax, and it is 3 and 3. We don't put the tick here because we haven't got it back to port and we haven't secured it. But what we will do is I'll keep it on top of broad. There we go. That is our first fishing action done. We're going to continue to do this until we can no longer take any actions. As you'll assume here, there's 3 dice, 3 actions. So for my next action, again, I'm probably going to go for I'm going to try and go for a deeper depth, but a smaller fish. So we can see here, this is a large shadow, a small shadow, and a medium shadow. I'm going to go for the small shadow. Okay, so this is the Amulet of Agartha. This is a small and foul fish. If I catch this, I have to take 2 regrets, and I display face up in front of you, and I own the red dice. Oh, interesting. There is no monetary value to this, but I get an extra dice, which is actually really quite valuable because it means that we get another action, we can catch more fish. It's a difficulty 3. So I'm going to choose to spend a dice to move down a tier, and then I'm going to pay the dice to catch the Amulet of Agartha. And now we get the red dice, which I will put in our spent pile. So we've now ran out of dice. That is our day 1 completed. So then we go back to the start and we do it all over again. So remember, in phase 1, we refresh. So we're going to take our dice out of the spent pile. We're going to move... Oh, sorry. One thing I forgot to do is to take 2 regrets when we caught the Amulet of Agartha. So I take 2 off the pile here. And as you'll see, I've got a trivial regret. I missed a call on the new telephone. That sucks. But it's 0. It's not very regretful. And then we got a deep regret, which is of value 3. I never apologized. I hate those cryptic ones. It just makes me feel bad. And now we refresh. So we're going to move to Tuesday, which is day 2. We're going to re-roll all of our dice, including that lovely little red one. Wonderful. So we got 2 2s, a 3, and a 1, which is going to give us a lot more possibilities to catch more fish. One of the important things is that spending dice to move to lower depths in solo mode lasts until the end of the game. So if I get down to level 3, I'll be at level 3 permanently, unless I get moved maybe by a different action or trigger. Again, we don't have any rods or reels, so we don't need to equip them. We just begin fishing. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And at depth 3, a large fish, as we can see from my little reference sheet, a large fish will be of difficulty 4 upwards. Now, I'm cheating a little. I've played the competitive mode of this game, and I know that there are some like level 7 fish down there. but they're going to be more valuable, which means it's going to give us more money to do more things with in future sessions. So I'm going to spend a dice. No, sorry, I'm doing that out of turn. First of all, I'm going to reveal this fish, the Ever Squid. So this is middling in file. Value 2, I get a regret when I cash this in. It's difficulty 4. When I catch this, I get 2 regrets, and I display face up in front of you. All fair fish cost 1 less to catch. That seems like something we want to do. Or is it? Because I won't be able to catch another fish this turn. We have a little bit of a dilemma. If I spend a dice to go down here, I would then need to spend 2 dice to catch this, and I've only got level 3 dice, which means that... But then I can catch fish from anywhere, so maybe I should just do it. Let's do it. Yeah. Okay, we're going to spend a dice, we're going to move down, we're going to spend our 2 level 2 dice to catch the Ever Squid, and we take 2 regrets the moment we catch it. So we've got another deep regret. I stared deep into the eye of the Kraken. That's fair. And we've got a value 2 regret. I lost an arm to an octopus, which kind of makes sense. This is an Ever Squid. It's not the same kind of fish, but maybe Fraud doesn't know that. And then we'll note this down. So this was at depth 3, and this is a middling fish. And it's file. And then we have 1 dice left. I'm actually going to choose to reveal a depth 1 fish, which is the sunfish. Large and fair. On reveal, all players lose a regret. So, just to kind of make this a little bit fair, let's shuffle our regrets here, and we'll just take that one away. It was a trivial regret. That was the worst one that we could have discarded. It is what it is. So this is value 4, which is really good. It's difficulty 2, but remember, because we have the Ever Squid, that would actually just be a 1, because all difficulty of fair fish is reduced by 1. We've got a level 3 dice. It feels a little bit wasteful to spend this on the sunfish, but if we don't, we would have to spend this to get a dink. You see, anytime you reveal a fish, if you don't want to catch that fish or can't catch that fish because you don't have enough dice, you basically have to just spend that dice and you catch a dink. So I'd rather spend that dice wastefully and get a sunfish as opposed to getting a dink. Now again, that is the day over, so we're going to move our tracker up to Wednesday. We're going to refresh all of our dice and we're going to roll them. Oh, that was awful. We got 4 1s. This isn't great. I'm going to use my can of worms because I don't want to waste a reveal, and I feel like these dice are going to be pretty important for us. So with the can of worms, I can use this to peek at 1 fish and put it back on the top or the bottom of the shoal, and this doesn't count as my reveal. So we're going to flip that to show that we've done it. I'm going to reveal this one at depth 2. It looks like a big shadow. Oh, so this is Croatian spawn, large in file. It's worth 5. It's difficulty 4, so it would take all of my dice. On catch, you would flip a coin, but in solo mode, you ignore all coin flip mechanics or all coin flip fish. So I'm going to keep that at the top. That will now act as our... I'll then reveal that as part of my fishing action. And I'm going to spend all 4 of my dice today to catch this spawn because I feel like it's worth it. And then we'll catalog that. So difficulty 4, and that is today done. That was a really easy day. So again, we're going to move up to Thursday. We're going to roll the dice. Give me more than 1s. Okay. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total. Again, maybe we should just be going for the big fish. Screw it. Yeah. So we've got a small and 2 mediums. Let's go for this one. No face, middling and file. Value 5, difficulty 3. And when I catch it, I get 2 regrets. That's actually risky. You see, at the end, when we get to the end of the working week and we go back to port, we need to count up all of the value of all of our regrets, and then we deduct that from our total fish. So I don't know if we want to catch more regret fish. In fact, we're not gonna. I'm gonna spend a dice and take a dink. And we got the locket. So I can reduce an item cost by 1 fish buck when we get back to port. For my next turn, so at 3, 4, 5, 6, I think it's more important we probably go for depth 2s. So let's reveal this one. A mermaid. Value 4, difficulty 4, middling and foul. On catching this, I take a regret and peek at 2 fish. And then we have abilities for eating it, but we don't eat fish in solo mode because our goal is to catch them. So I am going to spend 2 dice to catch the mermaid. Once I catch it, I take a regret, which is a heavy regret. I lost a leg to piranhas, so I've lost a leg and an arm at this point. It's not looking great. Let's mark that down, and then we get to peek at 2 fish. So I've got 2 left. I think I want to peek at this at depth 1, which is a blue-ringed octopus. Must be caught with exactly 2 dice. That sucks. And then we'll put him back, and then we'll peek at this one. It's a nautilus of difficulty 2. Nautilus value is always 3 regardless of your madness. Okay, and we'll put that back there. That's the one we want to go for next. So we have 1 dice left. We're gonna fish. We're gonna reveal the nautilus. We're gonna spend our 2 dice to catch the nautilus, and its monetary value will always remain as 3, which is going to be helpful. We might want to try and make sure that we keep that no matter what. We then move on to the final day of the working week, which is Friday. We're going to roll all of our dice. Oh, that was a good roll. That was a really good roll. 2 3s, a 2, and a 1. I think it's time to go big or go home. Let's reveal this depth 3. So we have a goblin shark. Value of 6. Middling and fair, difficulty of 4. When we catch it, we have to discard 1 small fish. What small fish do we have? The nautilus is small. And the amulet of Agartha is small. Oh, I feel like we would need to get rid of the... Well, actually, it's the last day of the week, right? But then this is value 3, and that's value 2. Oh, yeah, you know what? Screw it. I actually think we spend 2 dice, we catch the goblin shark, and I think we actually get rid of the nautilus, because we need to keep the red dice to try and catch another fish here. So that is a middling, actually, sorry, middling and fair. It's a fair fish. Remember, we have the sunfish, wasn't it? No, it was the eversquid. All fair fish cost 1 difficulty less to catch. This is actually only worth 3, so we only need to spend 1 dice to get it, which is fantastic. So middling, depth 3, and it is the goblin shark. I think we go again. I think we take another, because this looks like a big one. A kelpie. On reveal, all players take a regret. Wonderful. Nagging regret. I took a redhead to sea. My wife's a redhead. That makes sense. So this is a kelpie, large and foul. 3, 4, 5, 6. We take it. That's all of our dice, and we catch the kelpie. Okay, so we have the first step in kind of counting up how we did here in our first solo session is that we've got to count up all of the value of our regrets. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which is sizable enough. So we have a total regret value of 11. We now need to discard fish up to or greater than the value of our regrets. So I want to keep the kelp. I want to try and keep some of our high value fish. So that's an 8, a 6, and a 4. Those are our highest value. We're looking for 11. So the mermaid, the eversquid, that's 8, and the cax would take us up to 11. So we need to discard those. We will not get to officially kind of catalog and catch them this time. So now we bring the rest of the fish to port and we go through our ocean survey sheet and we're going to put an X beside each of the fish that made it back to port. So now we count up the total value of the fish that we brought to port, and that is the amount of money that we have to spend on equipment. 23. Yeah, we have 23 to spend. And so that is the amount of fish bucks that we would have to spend on some of the rods, reels, and equipment that we'll be able to take out with us on the next working week to try and catch more fish and get more of them back to port as well. So folks, that right there is a solo session of Deep Regrets. If you have enjoyed it and you think this is a game that you would enjoy playing at home, head on over to the Kickstarter campaign and drop a pledge there as well and say that Should You Back It sent you. I think this is a fantastic game with a ton of character, and I really love this solo mode. It's just there's something really chilled and peaceful about it. But if you've enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments below, and if you have, I'll try and film a part 2 of this where we go back out onto the seas with some equipment and see what else we can catch. But until then, if you have enjoyed this video, why not subscribe? I'm a small channel trying to cover the crowdfunded games I think you're interested in, and your support really does help.